Okay, so let's take a look at your domino lab. Okay, now I want to make sure that I start you off in a good direction and help guide you in the beginning so that way you can do this lab. Now, I know that you can do this lab on your own, I promise you, but you need to read the directions. Let's go ahead and go over this together, and then after that you can do this lab. You need to do this in groups of 2, no more than 2 in a group. Okay, now this lab paper that I have is actually an old paper that I have. So the one that you have in front of you is the new updated version. Okay, but there's a couple of changes, and I'll tell you as we go along. It says here that this lab is to determine the average speed by measuring the distance and time and create a graphical representation of the data. So what do we need? We need a meter stick, we need a stopwatch, we need some dominoes. We're also going to need a ruler. That's not on there, but you're going to need one. So please make sure that you have a ruler. Let me grab my stopwatch and let me get my meter stick also. Okay, so I have everything that I need here. There's 2 different kinds of stopwatches, so don't worry if you don't have this kind, you might have the other one. All right, now let's continue. Set up 30 dominoes in a straight row that measures with equal spacing between them. The first 2 trowels will be for 1 centimeter apart, the next 2 trowels for 2 centimeters apart, and the last 2 trowels will be 3 centimeters apart from each other. This will be a total of 6 trowels that you're going to perform. The first thing that's different from my worksheet versus your worksheet is that it says 30 dominoes. That's not the correct number, okay? This is an old worksheet. So look at your worksheet and make sure and see how many dominoes it's going to ask you to set up. Not now, but in a moment when you get your dominoes, go ahead, pour them all out, and make sure you have the correct number that it says on your lab paper, okay? If there's extras, not a problem. Just put them back up in the container. Okay. So it says here that we're going to do the first 2 trowels of 1 centimeter apart. Now, measure the length, it says, after you set them all up in a row, measure the length of the dominoes from the first domino to the last. This lab is telling you how to measure. You're going to measure all the way from the first dominoes all the way to the last. I understand in physics, especially when we're talking about distance and displacement, we measure from the middle of the object to the middle of the other object. Almost always. But this lab is asking you to measure from the beginning to the end. And that's what they're asking. Make sure you measure that before you push them over. You're going to need your meter stick for that. Okay, remember, you're going to use this side with all the little lines. This is the correct side. Okay? After you have the full distance of all of the dominoes after they're set up, use a stopwatch. Do not use a cell phone. Please look around. Anybody has their cell phone out, go ahead and make a mental note to let me know when I get back. But no, you're not going to have your cell phone out. You don't have a lot of time, and this lab also is very time consuming. But you're going to use your stopwatch. What do we need to do? We need to reduce the amount of variables that you're going to have in this lab. How are we going to do that? The person who's setting up the dominoes needs to be the same person to do it every single time. The person who's the stopwatch person needs to be the same person every time, okay? Where are we going to have variables and things mess up? Well, let's say that you're stopwatching, you're doing the timing, and then your partner does the timing. They may time a little faster. They might be faster than you. You might be a little slower than them. I don't know, but let's keep it the same, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's keep going. Use a stopwatch to measure the amount of time it takes for the entire row of dominoes to fall. After the first one is pushed, hit start, and then the moment that the last one falls, hit stop. If you messed up, then you need to set up all of the dominoes and do it again. Okay? Calculate the speed at which the dominoes are fall. The speed is d over t, recorded on your table. Calculate the average of both of them, of just the 1 centimeter apart. That means add them together and divide by 2. Repeat this process for 2 centimeters apart, and then repeat it again for 3 centimeters apart. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. I have my dominoes here, and when we set up our dominoes, let me move that out of the way. Don't sit here, because I know how far they should be. Don't sit here and just set them all up like that. That's not going to work. What you need to do is that you need to have your ruler, and this is when your ruler is going to come in handy. You need to measure the inside of this wall to the inside of that wall, and that needs to be 1 centimeter apart. Make sure you start at where your ruler starts. This ruler starts over here on this line. So from the inside of here to the inside of this one, that is 1 centimeter apart of spacing. Move the ruler, go over here to the next one. From the inside, snap, and that's going to happen. So set it up, measure from the inside of this one to the inside of that one. Move your ruler, measure from the inside of this one to the inside of that one. Move the ruler. Whoever's doing the dominoes needs to have a steady hand. From the inside, and look, I have the inside here at 8 centimeters. I don't care. You do not have to start at the 0 every time. So I'm going to start at the 10. So from the 10 to the 11, 1 centimeter. And you're going to continue that. When you have them all set up, ready to go, you're going to go ahead, and one person is going to be the timer, one person is going to be the person that knocks them down. Believe me, trying to do both of it at the same time is not easy. So let's divide the work. What's going to happen? The person who's about to push it is going to be the person that's going to say, ready, set, go. On go, they are going to knock them over, and you are going to start the stopwatch. You are going to stop it when the last one is hit. So ready, set, go. I took too long, but once you find out your amount, you're going to write that seconds over here, the time it fell. Don't forget, you need to measure the full distance of it before you knock them down. If you don't, then you need to set them back up again. Do not trust somebody else's data, okay? That's your grade. This counts as a test grade. You're crazy if you try to trust somebody else's data. The other problem that I see with students is that they sit here, and when they put the ruler here, they just try to set the domino up at, for an example, the 10, the 11. They try to set it up at the 12. They try to set up the next one at the 13. Is that 1 centimeter of space in between the dominoes? No, it's not, because you have to account for the thickness of the dominoes. This is not going to work, and you're going to get inaccurate data, and I will mark it wrong. You need to make sure that the space in between the dominoes is 1 centimeter apart. The space in between is 2 centimeters. Do not just set your domino up at the 4, and then at the 6, and then at the 8. Are you kidding? That is not 2 centimeters of space in between, okay? Once you're done with that, it says here graphing. Go ahead and make a bar graph. It actually tells you to make a bar graph. So on the back, there's a graph here. 1 stands for 1 centimeter apart, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeters apart. You're going to label the y-axis over here with the tick marks and the numbers, and you need to figure out how far you need to put that up there. Okay, this is going to be distance. It's going to go on this side. Okay, time is going to go over here, and what are you graphing up here? The speed. Okay, I apologize. I did not mean to say that. I'm glad we're recording this. Over here, you're going to put the speed. Let me write that down. Please put that over here on your paper too. Speed. This is going to be the distance apart. Please make sure you give units you give units, you finish the graph like you're supposed to, okay? The speed is going to go up on the y-axis, the distance is going to go over here on the x-axis, and please make sure you pay attention. You need to color code it. The 1 centimeter bar is going to be in blue. The 2 centimeter distance is going to be represented in red, and the 3 is going to be in green. So yes, you must get some matte pencils or crayons, and you need to color it in nice and neat. Don't give me some jacked up, messed up graph because you're lazy. Remember, I'm not going to accept laziness. I don't want laziness. Then you have questions here. You are working in groups of 2, so you need to have your partner help you out when it comes to this. Talk about it, have your lab papers out, think about it, come up with some answers over here. I know you can do that. You have all class period today, and then you have the rest of the class period on Friday. You must turn this paper in before you leave. What if there's this crazy incident that happens tonight, and you have your paper, your partner, they have their paper, but yet there's more data on your paper? That makes sense? That's the reason why you're going to leave it here. Because of what if something crazy happens? So you're going to leave your paper, turn it in today. You can pick up your paper on Friday. And when she tells you that it's time to go ahead and start and begin, well, then you can go ahead and start and begin. At that moment, if you are just about done or almost done, well, then finish it and then turn it in. You can be done for the day. But you cannot leave on Friday until this is turned in. All right, other than that, you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.